Hello, you're on the Sad and Cheesy Show on Kai Radio, local bands 24/7, and we have a special guest here. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, Darnell. How's it going?
I'm fine.
My name's Evette Rivera. I'm an agent with the FBI. Thanks for having me here.
No problem.
It's really nice that the reason I'm here is because you actually took the initiative to invite me and to tell me a little bit about your show and giving me the opportunity to come here and talk today a little bit about the opportunities in the FBI. But I wanted to start off a little bit to talk a little bit about how I ended up here. Because I think that at the end of the day, I hope that this interview, this conversation, will hopefully pique the interest of other young people like yourself to maybe consider a future with the FBI. In my path, I guess, as far as choosing a career or choosing what to study, I actually studied biology in college. I wanted to be a doctor. And along the way, I realized that becoming a doctor was quite the task. It was very competitive to go to medical school. And I'll be honest, when I finished my undergraduate degree, I didn't really feel as confident. I thought, oh, I probably wouldn't get into a medical school at this time. So I ended up moving to Chicago and I became a volunteer. And I actually lived with 3 nuns. And in that same house lived 2 other young ladies who also volunteered. And my assignment was to work at a shelter where women were victims of domestic violence. And I was actually an advocate for the kids. And it was a great opportunity to kind of learn a little bit about the things that people go through. Especially the women, they were very resilient. They had gone through a really hard time, and they found a way to be a parent and be there for their kids and stuff like that. So when I was there, I realized, you know what, I'm going to get my master's because I think maybe that will help me to become more confident, more competitive, and enter medical school. So I ended up getting my master's in public health. And when I was in school, a lot of my professors were attorneys. And they talked a little bit about policy and hopefully helping people to maybe prevent certain illnesses, because I don't know if you know a little bit about the healthcare system, but it's quite expensive. And sometimes people that are don't have a lot of money, it's really hard to get medical care. So as a result, I changed my mind and I decided I no longer wanted to be a doctor, and I decided to pursue law school. And the reason I say this is because, it actually took me about 5 years to get through undergrad because I moved around different schools. And I changed my mind about what I wanted to do. And I don't know if you ever take the opportunity to talk to the kiddos at like Target or the grocery stores. I love talking to those guys because usually those kids, and I say kids because I'm so much older, but they always kind of the main theme is, it's stressful because people are always wanting to know, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And I tell them, you know what? There's people my age that don't know what they want to do with their life. And, as long as you have a sort of like at least a goal in the mix, right? Like I want to get my associates. And then after that, maybe I want to get my degree and my bachelor's degree. And sooner or later, maybe you'll change your mind. But that's okay because as long as you're progressing along the way towards your goal, that's a good thing. So needless to say, at some point I moved back to California, and I was working at a probation school. And these young kids, they were first-time juvenile offenders, and instead of going to juvenile hall, the judge allowed them to go to probation school. And at that school, I worked mostly the social services, so I work with the youth. So I work with the older kids, like 13 to 18-year-olds, and I work with the parents. And we did everything from, taking off graffiti, which by the way they didn't like. It's very difficult to take off graffiti. Picked up trash at the beach. Went to pick up trash at this one person's house who they couldn't do it, and they had a lot of stuff in their yard and stuff. And I guess the idea was to kind of just give back to the community. Hey, you know what? We didn't make good decisions along the way, but here we are trying to like make a good path for us. And I came across the FBI website, and I saw that they were hiring for agents. And I didn't know anything about the job really, but I thought, well, one is I'm going to serve a purpose. And in my life, I felt like all my jobs had served a purpose. And I thought, well, serve the U.S., absolutely. And two, I knew the job would probably be hard because I didn't know anything about it. But I've been lucky. My mom has been a very hardworking lady. In fact, right now she works as a stalker. She's the one that all the veggies that you see at the 99-cent store. She's the one that takes out all the rotten veggies and puts back so that it looks kind of nice for the people when they come in. And when the truck comes in, she unloads. She's a very hardworking lady. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm not afraid of hard work. Whatever they ask me, I'll try. And, and what's the worst that can happen? Maybe they say no. But, my process took from the time I applied to the time I got into the FBI, that letter that said, congratulations, you're going to go to the academy, 2 years. But I say, you know what, I probably would have waited forever because it's been a great opportunity. And that's kind of a little bit about me.
Okay, awesome. Can I ask what possibility there is of you applying once, don't get in, you apply again? Would they consider that for, let's say, a person that, didn't meet the requirements at first, and they may meet the requirements later on in life and apply again? Do they think their ratio is higher or lower for getting in again?
So there are certain, I guess, requirements for any job, right?
Correct.
But there's actually many ways to get into the FBI. We have what you consider the typical internship, which most college students like yourself are always looking for an opportunity to get experience, right? So, and to apply for the internship program, all you need to do really is, there is a GPA requirement. It changes every year. But you need to be a current student. Whether you're a current student in undergrad or grad school or whatever, as long as you're a current student. And you could be any major, which is very important to note because most people think you have to be criminal justice, sociology, whatever you think is kind of like law enforcement. But the FBI is actually law enforcement and intelligence. And we do all sorts of things if you think about it, we serve the public, right? And the issues that affect our communities are vast. We also have the Collegiate Hiring Initiative, which is actually for graduating students. So if you're about to graduate school this May, this June, you could absolutely apply, and that's for an entry-level job at the FBI, full-time, 40 hours a week, full-fledged employee for the FBI. And that consists of a few different opportunities. If you're in the sciences, you could go work at the Quantico Lab, which is one of the top laboratories in the world. We have evidence extinguishers, which work in the evidence department. They get to go out on search warrants and help out. We have administrative assistants, which is the people that kind of manage a squad. And basically, as a squad is a group of people that investigate a specific crime, whether it be violent crimes or white collar. And then we also have physical security specialists, which is, it's a little bit of a mix. So they're the people that are willing to enforce kind of whatever rules there are, right, on the usage of the internet or our security. But they also get to do stuff outside of the office. For example, we had a job fair last year, and, people in security get to kind of walk around and ensure that the event is secure. And yes, when you apply to the job, which, by the way, we no longer use USA Jobs, we use FBI Jobs for all of our applications for future jobs. It actually tells you exactly what you need, whether if it's education, whether if it's open for a certain time frame. And I think the main component in any job opportunity is the top secret clearance. So there are no levels of clearance in the FBI. Everyone must have top secret clearance. So we all go through the same background, regardless if you're applying for an internship or if you're applying for the entry-level job as a current college student. And there are 3 things we look at, Darnell, when we are looking at an applicant. And let's say at the beginning, maybe you have a concern about maybe not being able to meet all those requirements. Well, then, yeah, absolutely. You can kind of wait. And once you meet those requirements, you can absolutely apply. There are certain instances where you wouldn't be able to apply. For example, if someone lies on a polygraph.
I wanted to ask you how the FBI shaped you as a person.
I think that the working in the FBI has made me more, my perspective as far as, the importance of kind of serving. It's just I feel like a more sense of responsibility than before. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I see things a lot differently. I can't say I don't. But I feel more of a sense of responsibility if when I go somewhere and if I witness something, do I act? Do I call 911? Because as an FBI agent, we don't have peace officer status in California, so we enforce different laws, and so the responsibilities are different. But yet, if I were to see something, that is happening, then I would have to act, right? So I have to decide, what do I do, versus before not being in the FBI. I don't think I had that perspective. Not that I think I still would want to help, but I don't know if I felt as confident or capable. I think that the job has made me more confident in my abilities, has helped me become more prepared in assisting people, and maybe not being as timid. Because if you knew me when I was little, yes, I was a chatterbox, but I think I was more of an advocate for others than for myself. And I think now I feel like I'm better able to kind of speak up, not as afraid to speak up.
Okay, awesome. What are some benefits you feel come from being in the FBI?
There's a lot of great, awesome benefits in working in the FBI. I think one of the things that sometimes people forget is that there's job security. So not necessarily just as an agent, but in any capacity, in any role. There was a time where there was significant issues with the budget, right? And many agencies were wondering, were we supposed to take furloughs? That means like a day off and not get paid and things like that. And yes, in our agency, we got that email that indicated, we don't know what's happening. There might be some sort of waiting time. Maybe you might not get paid in the next couple of weeks or something. But don't worry, we'll figure it out. And once the budget gets resolved, but no one lost their job. We still had a job, and so there is job security, and it is a job with purpose. You get to work. We do human trafficking. We help with people that get defrauded in the Medicare program. Crimes against children. Those are important things that the FBI does. We have it's called the University Education Program, I think. When I came into the FBI, I had a lot of loans. Because like I said before, I had to take out student loans. And one of my coworkers told me about it. She said, "You know what, Yvette, they're actually asking for people to put in for helping to repay their student loans." And I did. I put in for it, and the FBI paid a portion, and I paid a portion, and eventually my debt was gone. So how awesome is that? That I got some assistance for debt that it would have taken me a long time to pay. So for anyone out there, and the FBI is not the only agency that does this, that I would encourage students that are graduating, looking for jobs, to consider that as a possibility, because there's a lot of entities out there that will pay for student loans. And the thing is, it's a big sacrifice to go to school. And you should be commended for finishing your education, because it is not an easy feat. And the other benefits that I think is further education. So there's people that start the FBI and maybe might not have their bachelor's. Well, the FBI periodically canvasses for people saying, "Hey, you want to get a degree? You want to finish your schooling?" And the FBI will pay for it. Okay. So guess what? You get to get a degree while you're working in the FBI, if maybe you didn't get to get that bachelor's while you were, before you got employed.
That's amazing. Last and final question before we finish the interview. Can you elaborate on the event that's going on May 9th?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a recruitment event scheduled for May 9th. It's in West Hollywood. It's going to be a great opportunity. We're going to have speakers from FBI headquarters coming. It's specifically geared to anyone and everyone who is just willing to just listen to us and kind of hear a little bit about what becoming an FBI special agent is about. We're going to have agents working from all different violations. We'll have SWAT people there. We have people working who have worked in the evidence response team. We'll have crisis negotiation team members. We'll have agents working counterintelligence, counterterrorism, people that work violent crimes, people from all different capacities that have worked all different kinds of violations. We're going to have a networking session from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it's going to be an opportunity to just speak one-on-one with whoever you want. And then from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. is the actual event. The director of the FBI, Comey, is going to be there. Our assistant director, Deidre, is going to be there. By the way, she is the first female assistant director for the Los Angeles FBI office. How awesome is that? And just to add, 18.2% of the agents of the FBI are only women. That's it. So for any women out there, women are awesome. I know I'm biased, but all I gotta say is that we encourage you to kind of even just consider it. And just in general, anyone out there who maybe didn't think of it as a possibility, just think of it this way. I came into it as a second career. Give it a shot. Who knows? Maybe you'll hear something and say, you know what? Yeah, I want to join. And it's free. You can we have a link on Eventbrite. And we also encourage you to look at the FBI website. It's called the DAR, LA Talent Network. You click on the link, and that's how you register. The event is next Tuesday, May 9th.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank you guys for listening. You're on the Savage and Cheesy Show, live on Carrito, local bands 24/7. And thank you so much for coming.
Thanks
this
for
was
having
amazing.
me. Thank you, Darnell, so much.
problem.
Thank you.